Welcome to Kessler Comics Studio, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 strongest Justice League members. Number 10. Cyborg. Victor Stone was a gifted athlete with a genius-level IQ. As a child, his parents had used him as a test subject for an intelligence-enhancing serum, but he rejected them and chose to delve into petty crime instead. As he grew older, he found an outlet in sports, and his natural athleticism set him on a path to football stardom instead. All that changed when an ill-fated trip to his father's lab resulted in him being maimed by an extra-dimensional demon. Most of his limbs and internal organs were either removed or destroyed, and in an act of desperation, his father used the exotic technology at his disposal to restore Victor to life as a cybernetic organism, or cyborg. Number 9. Vixen. If you had to choose the powers or attributes of an animal, which animal would you choose? The strength of an elephant? The speed of a cheetah? Vixen doesn't have to choose just one, she can channel the abilities of any animal on Earth. Centuries ago in Africa, an ancient warrior known as Tantu asked the spider god Anansi to create a totem that would grant the wearer the ability to channel the power of the animal kingdom, with the caveat that the wearer must use that power to protect the innocent. The totem was handed down through the generations to Tantu's descendants until it reached Mari McCabe. Number 8. Red Tornado. Red Tornado has a complicated backstory with numerous retcons. In some, he is an android created to do great harm, but learns the value of human life and becomes a hero. In others, he is an air elemental that took on a robot form. In whatever universe he is depicted, Red Tornado is a heroic being that seeks to be more human. One continuity sees him become human, as his spirit becomes capable of transferring to the body of a mindless duplicate. His soul is transferred by the villain Felix Faust, posing as Deadman, and Red Tornado discovers he has retained his wind-generating powers, but lacks the resilience of his powerful android form. When he is torn apart, and partially eaten, by Solomon Grundy, his human body dies and he once again becomes an android. Number 7. Firestorm. There have been several versions of Firestorm, most recently on the CW series Legends of Tomorrow, but the most powerful, and arguably the best, version is the original fusion of Ronnie Raymond and Martin Stein. Ronnie, a high school student, and Professor Martin Stein, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, were caught in a nuclear accident and they fused into the form of Firestorm, the Nuclear Man, capable of absorbing radiation and shooting intense blasts of fire from their fingertips. As the professor was unconscious during their initial merging, it was Ronnie who was the dominant mind during their time as a single entity. As time progressed, the two took to sharing the Firestorm body, and Ronnie benefited greatly from the older and wiser Professor Stein's advice and guidance. Number 6. Aquaman. Often the butt of the joke, Aquaman is in fact incredibly powerful. The King of Atlantis has had many origins, sometimes as a human Atlantean hybrid, sometimes as an Atlantean who was raised by a lighthouse keeper after being abandoned by his parents. In any iteration, Aquaman has the physiology of an Atlantean and therefore has evolved to live under the intense pressure of the ocean. On land, he has superhuman strength and durability on a par with some of the strongest heroes of the Justice League. His trident is so powerful that it is capable of piercing even Superman's nearly indestructible skin with ease. He also has the ability to telepathically communicate with any ocean life. While this has often been mocked, it is actually an incredibly useful power, as he has a vast army at his mental command, willing to decimate any adversary in his domain. Number 5. Power Girl. Despite often being thought of for her body type before her powers, Power Girl is one of the most powerful beings in the history of the Justice League. A Kryptonian from an alternate universe, Power Girl has the same abilities as any other Kryptonian under a yellow sun. She can fly, has super strength, super speed, invulnerability, X-ray and heat vision, freeze breath, and super hearing. While her physical power is on par with Superman, she does lack his combat experience. However, she does possess certain advantages over him. While his enemies know to fear his power, Power Girl is often underestimated and uses that to her advantage, leading her enemies to lower their guard. Number 4. Green Lantern. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evils might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. While there are literally thousands of Green Lanterns across the universe, the most famous of Earth's many Green Lanterns is the former pilot Hal Jordan. Hal, like the rest of Earth, was unaware of the existence of the Green Lantern Corps, the Guardians of the Universe, or the power rings they used to defend the universe against the forces of evil. One day he came across the dying alien Abensur, who passed along his Green Lantern ring to Hal, making Hal his replacement in the Corps and the first Earthman to join the Corps. Number 3. Zatanna. Zatanna, like her father Zatanna, is an exceptionally gifted magician and is potentially one of the greatest mystics of the DC universe. Zatanna's limits have never fully been established, with her power set varying depending on who is writing about her. Initially, during her first adventures with the Justice League, her powers were quite limited, consisting in the manipulation of fire, air, water, and earth. As her powers have grown, she has shown the ability to manipulate all forms of energy and conjure apparitions and magical constructs. As a way of focusing her powers, she usually says her spells backwards and has hinted that backwards is her natural tongue. She does not appear to need to do this, however, as she has been able to cast spells when bound and gagged. Number 2. Superman. The last surviving member of the House of El, Kal-El, was sent to Earth to avoid the destruction of his home world. His father, a great scientist, created a small pod capable of interstellar travel and placed his infant son inside it. When the pod reached Earth, the child landed in rural Kansas and was adopted by Jonathan and Martha Kent and raised as their son. The boy took the name Clark and lived a normal life on their farm. As he grew older, he became aware of his responsibilities as a powerful being and moved to the city of Metropolis, becoming the costumed crime fighter Superman while maintaining his secret identity of Clark Kent, a journalist. Number 1. Shazam. Given the power of 7 gods by the wizard Shazam, Billy Batson has the ability to transform into the form of Shazam, one of the most powerful beings in the world, by simply saying the word Shazam. He has the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the speed of Mercury, the lightning powers of Zeus, the wisdom of Solomon, and the courage of Achilles. He also has the ability to fly, with various sources disagreeing on which of his magical patrons is responsible for this power. He is depicted as essentially invulnerable in his powered form, and is much stronger than Superman. He does, however, have a degree of vulnerability to lightning, somewhat ironically, and also to magic.